Today we got the G Shackles. We're going to be installing them. So these are actually Hilux KUN 26 shackles. So from what I've heard, this will raise the back by about 1/4 of an inch. Just when they're sitting normally, so like this, just because Hilux is that little bit higher than Rangers for stock. And then at full droop, it adds about 2 inches onto it. So that'll just help with flex and whatnot, give us a bit more wheel drop. Should be fat to do some mad flexi tracks because I do those. But yeah, just got the idea from a bloke off the Ranger group chat, because he did this on his and he said that it flexed mad. Maxed out his 2-inch lifted rear shocks, so might need to go to a 3 or 4 inch, not really sure, we'll have to do some measurements, but yeah, should be good. We'll get into chucking these on. Alright, didn't film it, but we've got the jack under the diff there and then 2 jack stands under the chassis rails. Just going to take these wheels off, so that way we can drop it onto the jack stands and it'll have no weight on the diff because the jack stands aren't big enough. Like if I lower the jack out right now, then it's still, the wheels are on the ground but it's on the jack stands just because we're too big, bro. But yeah, so we'll do that. We actually got a battery for the impact wrench that I got Lachlan for Christmas, so we'll be able to use that for the first time, which will be good. And I also got a torque wrench just in case, to make sure that the torque settings are right, because I don't really want to mess around with suspension parts and them coming loose on the highway doing 100 k's an hour wouldn't be fun. So yeah, we'll just make sure that that's all to spec, and yeah, we'll get these wheels off and crack into it. We'll just take the wheels off with the breaker bar because the battery's currently charging because we literally just got back from Super Cheap, but we'll be able to do all the suspension stuff and put the wheels back on with the Ugga Dugga, so keen for that. We'll just lower that one now, both wheels are off, and hopefully it lands on the jack stands and not the ground.
That was a piece of piss, bro. Pretty.
Yeah, so we'll just need to hit it back out. So. Alright, we'll come back to you when it's done. Alright, so the wrench didn't really work to hit it out, so I got the WD-40 off-brand pen. We'll hit it out with that. Yeah, we'll just come back to you when it's done. That didn't work either, but I think the umbrella's gonna work. Yeah, no, I can definitely see how it's working. We'll get back to you. Yeah, that didn't work either. I'll punch it out, but you know, need a bit of protection. We'll get the boxing glove. You can see up here, the shackle, we've just hit it out with the umbrella, and it's just touching on the exhaust now, up here. So we're just going to disconnect the exhaust and then chuck it off the hanger and it'll be able to get out of the way, and then put it back on at the end. Alright, the exhaust is out, and now we've got enough room to get the shackle out, and it's almost there. Just gotta rip that one out. So I've been told that we need to drill out the bushings as well, so we're just seeing how much we need to do. This is the bottom one. It's obviously not going to go on this way, but that one goes straight in like a glove. But the top one is not so like a glove, it's a bit tighter. I actually think it might go. I'll give it a go. No, I don't think so. So we'll have to drill that bush of Rhino out, but yeah, it should be right. So we don't have a drill bit that's big enough, so we're just gonna try and grease it up like a motherfucker, and then put it on like that. And if that doesn't work, then I'll go get a drill bit the right size to drill it out, but otherwise this will be our best bet, hopefully. See how we go. That plan kind of worked. We got one side in, but then as you can see, this bushing is still out. So honestly just got to try to push it in, but it doesn't move all that free, so obviously not going to work all that great with suspension if it can't move very freely. So I'm thinking about just taking it out and drilling out the bushings a bit. I think that'll be my best bet, rather than trying to mess around and get this to fit, so we'll take that back out now. We're just taking Mum's car to Super Cheap now because I need a Christmas tree drill bit because the drill bit that I have is too small. So we're just gonna pick that one up and then we'll be able to drill out the bushings and then should be smooth sailing from there. Back from Super Cheap now. Oops. Got the drill bit, so now we'll be able to drill out those bushings and should be able to fit it all up. And I reckon I'm gonna finish this first side before we have some lunch and then crack on to the second side. Hopefully not gonna take too long. Should be good. Alright. So I drilled the last one out. Went pretty well. So we're gonna try this one now. Top one's in, middle one's in, bottom one just needs to slide together. Just trying to push it through. Might help if I get a socket and a hammer just to push it in, but it does go in. So we're pretty much sweet. We just need to put the other plate on, tighten it all up, and we should be right. Actually, I may as well just chuck a nut on and walk this side in. Alright, just putting the final nut on now. So the rest of them have gone on fine. All nice and tightened up. And got this gap to close. So yeah, now we're looking good for some flexi boys, I reckon. There we go, that's nice and tightened down. Still can move. So I forgot to mention on the other side that I did grease everything up. As you can see by my hands, everything was nice and greased up. Shackle, the bushes, everything, so should be nice and sweet. Cool, so this side's off. Gonna start bashing it out, but I think we're gonna have to move the spare tyre eventually, so we'll start it and then move that and then get it out. The shackle is out, the bushes are out. Now we're just gonna test fit them. I imagine I'm gonna have to drill the bushes again. If I don't, that's a win. If I do, who cares? I've sorted it out now, so it should be in. I reckon I got about 15 minutes. I reckon I can get this in. So we'll send it. So as I assumed it to be, these are too small, so you can see. I try and push them on. It's a bit of a struggle. Don't want to get stuck on there. So we'll drill these out just like the other ones, and then we'll smack them on. Alright, so now it's all apart. This one comes off. I'll show the process of me lubing up everything. Ow, that is hot. Oh, I just touched my leg on this drill bit after drilling everything out. It's so hot. Get away from me. Alright, back to what I was saying. I'll get a bit of grease on my finger like that. Get the inside, get the side of the bearing where it's going to be touching, and get the outside. So pretty much just douse the whole thing. I was a bit generous with this one, but I mean, I don't really need to be with all of them. That's alright, just scrape off excess, use it on the next one. It's a bit of a messy job, but there's no real other way to get it done properly. And then you don't want to get any contaminants on it after you've greased it up. So just sit it in the grease, I guess. Put these ones another way so I don't mix them up. Get back in. And then same with all of the, I guess you'd call them rods, I don't really know what you call them. Bolts? I guess it's bolts, but it's not the actual thread part. Bit of grease on it, just around the whole thing. Lube it up nice and good. While we're installing it, you can put the bushings either on the actual shackles, or you can just chuck them straight in. I prefer to chuck them straight in completely because it's a bit easier to line up the hole with just the bolt rather than the whole thing. So chuck all these in, and now I'll line it up and show you once I've lined it up. The top here is struggling a bit with that bushing just because they're tight. Had the drill mounts, they're obviously going to be a bit tight. So I'll just put a nut on it and then walk it in and we'll be able to get to it. So this is what I had to do on the other side with a couple of them. Make sure I'm tightening. Alright, both sides fully installed. Got split washers on the nut that connects to the chassis and the nut that connects to the spring, because they were the factory ones and the kit didn't come with split washers, so I couldn't have one on the third one. But I figure as long as it's connected to the spring and the chassis, then can't really go wrong. Just got to chuck the exhaust back on, lower it down, wheels, and we'll go test out the flex, hey? Alright, time for the wheels to go back on. We'll get these lined up. Right, finally get to use the ugger for the first time, so we'll see how we go. Alright, jack stand and everything are out, we're ready to drop it down. Nothing really changed from looks wise, but still looks great. Alright, so I've decided to make a sketchy flex ramp because what do you do once you have new suspension? Gotta try it out somehow. Alright, I'm stoked and I literally have a minute to film this clip, so I'll make it quick. Made the flex ramp slightly higher, got a bit more tuck here. We got probably another inch to bump there, not sure if you can see it. On this side, even more flex. You can see right here, this shock fully flexed out. So that's stock shock maxed out. So this hasn't even unwinded yet. Wow, that's crazy. That's sick. We've still got more flex to go. So at some point I'm gonna have to unbolt those shocks and measure up to see how long my new ones have to be. I'm about to lose, guys. Bye.
A few inches later.
I was thinking yesterday, even though the left side wasn't opening up all the way, and I'm 98% sure that that's because the shocks aren't long enough, but just to make sure, I'm going to also flex the left side up on the ramp so the right side's drooping, to make sure that it was just the shocks and not that the left side's installed wrong or something like that, because it was the first side, so you know, never know. So yeah, we'll get our dodgy flex ramp out again and we'll give it a go. Alright, let's check this. Flexed up here. Got a bit of bump. Yeah, same sort of height. This one, well, it's like barely open, same as the other one. And yeah, okay, sweet. So, they are both the same. Let's have a look at this shock. maxed out here. Yeah, we'll have to measure the total travel of the shock there and then find out what the superior 4-inch ones are that I'm looking at and make sure that it's going to be enough to make it flex out completely. That's really what we're looking for. So yeah, we'll have a gaze at that. So I just measured the shocks and these ones are 620. So hopefully if I get another, well, 4-inch shock should be another 4 inches on that. I'm pretty sure that's how they work. Probably a dumb question. Not sure if I actually showed this, but so this is the old shackle, right? I'll hold it up. That's the new shackle. So you can see that it's already hanging lower, just not even unfolded, and then unfolded it'll literally be like another one of these shackles down. So pretty crazy considering that. So should give us heaps more flex. Just need to get rid of the limiting factor, which is the shocks. So I thought that I'd wrap this video up in a different spot to the usual. Of course we still do have the temperature lights on. You know what to do. 5% off, link in the description to get the lights or anything else that they have. They have some sick 12-volt stuff, so obviously check that out now that cheeky plug's done. Yeah, thought we'd finish it off with this sort of angle so you can see the flex that we got. Nothing much really, we're not dropping sills yet, but we should drop sills once I get the new shocks. Not really sure when I'm going to have those. Obviously got to figure out how much they are and when would be a good time to get them with money coming in. You know how it be. But yeah, get keen for that when we do. Chuck them in because this will flex mad in the rear. Obviously not as good flex in the front because it's IFS. But if we can get the rear to flex mad, then you know, better something than nothing. So yeah, I think pretty proud of this one with just sort of having to figure out the ways that it has to be modified to fit a Ranger from a Hilux. Again, pretty sure I said it earlier, but these are KUN 26 Hilux G shackles because they don't make them for the Ranger. They do make extended ones, but I wasn't keen to lift the rear whole heap more because now I've finally got it sitting level. So I didn't want to lift the rear 2 inches like the 2-inch extended shackles do that you can get for a Ranger. Not to mention they were heaps more expensive. So that's why I went with these ones, and I think they've gone mint. I drove last night, and I don't have a heap of weight in the rear, so I mean it's always going to be slightly bumpy in the rear. So I didn't notice a massive difference. It did feel nicer, but I don't know if that was just my mind playing tricks on me or whether it actually did. But yeah, no, definitely happy with this install. Happy with myself for getting it done, especially getting the second one done so much quicker than I did the first side after figuring everything out. But yeah, obviously if you like the video, give us a like. If you've got any questions about anything or any suggestions for what I should do with shocks, and whether you guys know that 4 inches will be enough for these shackles. Not 100% sure about measurements and that sort of stuff. I'm a bit new to this. But yeah, we'll do our best to get the right ones that'll fit. If you're new here, chuck us a subscribe because I'm looking to hit 400 by the end of the month. I'll give you a current subscriber count. We're currently at 372. So that means that we got 28 more to go by the end of the month, which is in 16 days. So I reckon we can get 28 subscribers in 16 days, just so we can hit that 400 mark by the end of Feb. Would definitely be greatly appreciated if you hit that subscribe button. So yeah, next video should be next week. Don't know what we're doing, but it'll be a sick video, so get around that too. Make sure that you are subscribed so you can see that one as well. Yeah, cheers for watching guys.